Lolo. I wanted to talk about this, this sort of this idea of the continuous forms of media and the mediums that um, kind of grew from it. And the medium I want to talk about is uh, print. Print being created, the newspaper, writing. Um, that's an interesting kind of to talk about the effect of print on different cultures itself. Um, I don't even know how to word this. I should have thought better how to word this before, but books and the content within the books and all the print eventually got to a point where we created movies in a visual form. And the content of movies was first the, the layout of print. Print, like a sort of, we took translations from books to movies, right, to kind of extend the story into a visual format. Now, what came after the movies? TV, right? TV shows, um, TV in general, like news networks. And to me, that's very different from going to a movie theater and watching a movie. But I'm going to kind of paint out my sort of thought or perspective. Print to movies, movies to TV, TV to videos, videos to short form content, short form content to streaming live. Kind of that, I think that one can be interchangeable, but streaming live to reality itself is the camera and the movie simultaneously. And it's kind of the movie holds the print as well. But this sort of idea that I'm thinking about is going from short form content to streaming live to reality itself being the camera and the movie simultaneously. I think what I mean by that is I think this part can be very interchangeable. Um, my mind immediately went towards Hollywood and that sort of idea. Because, I mean, in the movies and the TV, right, when we're talking about those beginning formats, Hollywood existed, sort of a hub to kind of create and gather and socialize about these things, about movies and TV. Now, going to TV to videos to short form content to streaming live, where's that hub being built? Obviously, it's online. This is a very interactable hub of kind of all those things, the videos, TV, movies, short form content, streaming live. You can access all those things. But after streaming live and reality itself becoming the camera and the movie simultaneously, what sort of draws the line between like Hollywood and this new form of like the Hollywood in the real world, where like is everywhere sort of in the mindset of performing and connecting in this very performative, active, like acting way. It, it's so weird for me to just sit here and contemplate because I don't hear many people talk about this or these things. And what's interesting is we have phones now, cell phones like this, and it's the screen and the camera simultaneously. So in a way, like when you step outside, it's always like a sort of chance to perform towards the camera and become the actor within the story that you decide. But I guess my dilemma, or why I'm thinking so strongly about this, is if we're all performing for this sort of this gaze of this instant communication, this instant access to or instantaneous access to like a response to your image, whether it's true or not, or just coming from real people or not, it sort of puts you in a hold of action and non-action. But I think I have to remind myself when I think about this is that you can't put an exact box over this because we're always changing and developing. So reality is sort of reconstructing itself to fit the medium of short form content and streaming live. The environment is shaping around those things because they are such the center point of our life, and we're, for whatever reason, we gravitate towards it. In a way, I kind of view this sort of as the ability to redistribute people's culture into a more dramatic form in which they are like forced to wear it and act in it. But also it creates this other thing of like non-interaction with this culture. So it's like kind of creating two lines that have different textures. One's furry, one's feathery or something. I don't know. They operate on the same sort of laws or rules, but it's just worn differently. And I think what really strikes my interest about reality becoming the camera and the movie is it creates a more direct experience in the now, but it's more catered towards this idealistic image that people are trying to reach, instead of like this self-worth, trying to find this self-meaning, the self-determination to find your will and to act upon it. I think most people now are kind of gravitating towards this in a way where their attention is being drawn to a fire or a flame like a moth is, because in the way we set up our information, it's not in a non-biased way, it's in the most biased way possible. So people are literally being born into biases, and they're not being told, or they're not even being taught what a bias is, or what a sort of momentum they find themselves in. I don't know. There's the idea.